right, so it's 20 seconds to race number one. Jim Pettipas is moving up to the line pretty quickly, but he's got a lot of space down below him. One thing he's not doing a great job of is easing the sails to accelerate. So he's doing a good job of bearing off, and he's got room. But if he had his main out about 6 or 10 more inches, all clear there. That was a great start by Jim. He just could have done a little bit better job of trying to play those sails while he's bearing off. So easing as you're bearing off is going to help the boat accelerate, as opposed to just having the main slammed in. And then he kind of trimmed the main a little bit before he even started turning up, which I would say want to wait a little bit. It's just going to help the boat accelerate a little more. So we see 55. I think that's foil. They've gotten the first little bit of lefty, and they had a great start with speed, and so they're able to tack and cross. Looks like they're moving into a little bit of a header right now, so they're already on top of the fleet. Now's a great time to go back. They're in a header. There's no reason for them to keep going. You just want to keep yourself between I don't think we need to. I see it. They're just, you really want to keep yourself between most of the fleet and the windward mark. So if the breeze goes left at all, 55 is putting themselves in a pretty tough position. So no need to go this far to the right. They should be tacking back and trying to keep contact with the fleet. Meanwhile, up on the left side, it looks like 53, which is going to be Dynamo, and Jim Pettipas in 63 are they're leading over on the left side. 53 getting a lot of shear, so they're pointing a lot higher than boats to leeward, although it's not holding great, but they were doing a great job of taking advantage of all the little bits of pressure they were getting. All right, so we're on the second leg, the third leg, the second upwind. And we've got the three boats who are doing really well on the top part of the last beat. We've got 53, 63, and 55 all doing pretty well. 63 and 55 went around the course right gate, which right now there's better breeze to the right. And 63 is going to tack and kind of dig in for more. But I'm also seeing a lot of pressure that 53 is going to be running into first. So right now, I think it's going to be a battle of who gets into something better first. And you just see the difference in heel. 53 really chugging along, whereas 63 is right behind 55, so it's tough. But they're a little more stood up. They've got people sitting down to leeward. And I think 63 is recognizing that and it's going to come back out. But 53, I think, they were not really looking to be in a good spot. And I think they've extended well enough at this point that they might be tacking and crossing, especially if that breeze goes any further left. 53 is going to be looking really, really good. And what I'm seeing further up the course is more left pressure. So 53, I think, would be wise to consider a tack soon. To try to reestablish contact with 63 and try to make it back over to this side. If pressure does kind of fall out over there, they're going to be in trouble. So now they're tacking, and looks to me like they're going to be crossing, but it's kind of tough to tell. 63 just now starting to get a lift, and but just not in quite as much pressure. So I was completely wrong about 53. They were not able to tack and cross foil. They ended up going out pretty far left, but something interesting happened between this group of boats where we had 53 and 55 going a lot lower, and we have Jim Pettipas in 63 going. He's kind of shifted modes, it looks like, or maybe he's just headed. But he was very, very pinchy, and so he was sailing much higher and slower angle, and these boats on the left are sailing a much lower, faster angle, and they got out to the left, and now pressure's filled in over there. And they're kind of ripping along. 55, I said it before and I was wrong, but 55 is definitely going to be tacking and crossing. They're just in a huge amount of pressure right now. So I was just taking a look at 51. They're having a little bit of trouble on the downwind, and they're doing a good job of keeping the pull forward, which you want, but they were sailing a little too deep to keep that pull forward, and they've got pressure starting to fill in, so I don't think it's going to be an issue anymore, and I don't think we're going to be able to see what was going wrong earlier. But they had the pull really far forward, and they were sailing a too low of an angle, and so the spinnaker was just really getting no flow on it. And it's actually doing exactly what it's doing now. So it just sort of starts wilting, you need to do one of two things. You either need to square the pole back, or you need to head up a little bit higher. Sometimes a combination of the two. But right now they're just sailing very low. Now they're getting a header, but they're just sailing a little too low, and the spinnaker just really didn't have any flow over it. So dropping the pole forward is good, but if you're dropping the pole forward and the boat's not sailing high enough, it's not going to help. Just kind of going to get smothered behind the mainsail. So we're on the last downwind, and Shadow, I'm turning the camera on right at the last moment, always not really being able to show you guys what I was seeing, but Shadow is also just kind of turned up a little bit. There was pressure above them. It was just a little bit higher, and they were just sailing a little low underneath the pressure. If they'd sailed up a little bit more, they probably would have increased their VMG a little bit just by virtue of getting better flow over the spinnaker. So it's just always really important that as the driver, you're paying attention to the spinnaker, because if the spinnaker is really, a lot of times the spinnaker just sort of starts wilting a little bit like it is on 63. And it's not, well, that's a jibe, but even on 55, they've got the pole dropped pretty far forward. What they need to be doing is heading up more to try to get a little bit better flow. So just dropping the pole forward sometimes makes it worse, but it is correct in the sense that you need the pole forward when it's light because you need to head up higher. But just if you keep the same angle and head up, it actually sort of exacerbates things. So really when it's light like this, the boats that are going to gain a lot on the downwinds are the boats that are able to keep the chute filled the whole time. And a big part of that is having a correct steering angle.